Okay, so welcome back to my channel. I want to do more videos in here. Someone gave me a topic, and today it was like a big thing. There's a lot of people on both sides of Ben Affleck being the new Batman. Now everyone's gonna bring up, oh, it was Daredevil, and they have their opinions on that. But that doesn't matter because this is a completely different movie. Anyways, completely different superhero, completely different movie, completely different area and genre and idea of what's going on in the movie. With a superhero, it's Batman. Christian Bale did Batman, and I'm gonna be honest, I only saw like two of the I've seen like two of the last like bout of Batman movies. Yeah, with Christian Bale. And I thought he was a good Batman. And then there was a series of Batman, way back in the day. Probably before I was born or right around when I was born. And that was each generation of Batman is completely different. It has its own idea. Just like with the new Spider-Man movie and then the previous three set of Spider-Man, there's Andrew Garfield, who's pertaining a lot more to the comic book sassiness of Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man. And then, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name, with Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. And it's not Tobey Maguire? I think it's Tobey Maguire. I could be entirely wrong. But he did the three Spider-Man. He had a completely different take on it. It's whenever you do these superhero movies, there's always a different version. Like, look at all the Superman movies. Like, all of them have their own different versions, whether they're based on the comic books or based on some little series. They're always different. And so with Ben Affleck being the new Batman, I mean, it's going to be a different interpretation. Like, say what you will. I think Ben Affleck is an amazing actor. I'm really excited to see him play Batman. I'm not personally the person that gets into, like, Marvel, into those, like, movies, like, on the comic book side. I'm not really a big comic book reader. Or, like, DC Comics and stuff. I watch the movies, like, as movies. So from a movie watching standpoint that doesn't read the comics, I'm really excited to see Ben Affleck because I like his acting. I think he's a great actor. He's very versatile. And some people can, of course, argue that. You always argue that with any actor. Like, if they're very versatile, if they only play, like, one type of a thing. But I'm personally very excited for him to be the new Batman. But I'm not trying to say he's going to be better than any past Batman. They all have their own little thing that was going on. They had their own, it's hard to compare them because they're two completely different people. And it's two completely different versions, two completely different ideas, even though it's the same character. It's going to have their own characteristics, just like any character. The actor's going to add different characteristics to it because they have a different acting style. So it's hard to compare the two. Especially if you're doing, like, remakes as well. It's hard to compare because there's going to be things that are different. It's going to be things more modernized. But going back to the original thing, I'm very excited for Ben Affleck. I just like his movies a lot. I wouldn't say he's, like, my super favorite actor. We always save that for Jake Gyllenhaal. But this is not about him. That is time for another video. But he's definitely in my top 10 of favorite male actors. I don't know. But I'm very excited to see him with the new Batman, which whenever it comes out, I don't know when it comes out, but they just, like, announced it today or, like, late last night or something that he's going to be a new Batman. And there's so many people that are like, oh my god, I'm so mad. Like, Christian Bale can't do the entire everything of Batman. Like, it changes from person to person. Look at all the Superman movies. Like, there's even, like, the really, really old ones. I mean, they change all the time. Look at the new Star Trek compared to the Star Trek series. I mean, Chris Pine is not William Shatner. But they're not the same person. You can't compare them to each other. Separately, they're amazing. They're great people. Separately, they're different actors. But you can't compare them and say, like, oh, William did these things, but Chris didn't do that in Star Trek and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can't compare them. They're different. They're going to have different interpretations. Like, You can't compare the different Batmans. You can't compare all the Supermans. You can't compare all these different versions of a character. Because that's all a character is. It's interpretation. You have like a baseline of what the character does, what they stand for, what they do. But other than that, it's up to the interpretation of the person playing out that part. Like, there's a character and it's in their head. It's not going to be the exact character on paper. It's going to be their interpretation of the character on paper. And it's always going to be different. That's the beauty of acting, of seeing these movies, seeing these TV shows. And I think Ben Affleck's going to do a wonderful job with his interpretation of Batman. That was pretty much the point of this video. And, you know, if other people think differently, that's fine. Yeah, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Like, that's cool. That's fine. That's awesome. But you can't speak in absolutes saying he's going to be horrible. He's going to be fantastic. No. He's going to be an actor who's doing his fucking job. And he's going to do his job. Whether you like it or not. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I just went off for 6 minutes about talking about an actor. And not gonna lie, it felt good. I'm pretty excited for the new Batman. I'm excited for another Ben Affleck movie. I think he has a butt chin, and I think I like a man with a butt chin. It's a lot of muscle going on. But that's it. Bye.